Hey everybody, I just want to show you a few videos that I saw recently. The first one is from a channel called Maverick Star Reloaded. It's very interesting because he's suggesting that he believes that a bomb was set off in California and that was not actually an earthquake. There were several large earthquakes. And then I think there was like a bunch of smaller ones as well. But let's just watch the video. I just want to give his take on what he thinks may have happened. These are just ideas and different people giving their input on what they think could be going on. And then I'm gonna show you a couple other things and see if I can get people's feedback. But it is wholly possible that a bomb was set off in California. So let's look, and people can draw their own conclusions. Here we go.
Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the Polshift News, the home of the Mavstar Observatory. I'm not entirely sure, guys, how this video is going to go down, because we're going to talk about the recent California earthquakes that have happened over the last few days. And I'm going to show you some information on earthquakes regarding their impact on seismographs and also nuclear blast data. And we're going to look at the seismograph data on those as well. And, I'll just put it out there that what we probably saw on the 4th of July at the Mammoth Deep Hole probably wasn't an earthquake at all. So let's get on with it. But before we do, big thanks, especially to Steve and Douglas. Big thanks, guys. I really appreciate the help that you put in, as well as everybody else that support this channel on the Patreon account and also PayPal, and the link will be down there at the end of the video if you want to support what we do. So let's get into it. Let's have a look at what we're talking about then with the Mammoth Deep Hole, where the seismograph recorded the very first event, I believe, the 6.4 magnitude on the 4th of the month. And we'll just take it from there, shall we? So guys, you can see we're on USGS real-time seismogram display. We're at the Mammoth Deep Hole seismogram on Thursday the 4th of July 2019. And if we go down to the first of the series of earthquakes that started really in this recent pattern of earthquake activity, we're looking at the 6.4 magnitude earthquake that went off. And just to show you the time scale over the duration of the first 6.4 magnitude earthquake that happened. The problem is with this, guys, is that, as I'm going to explain to you and show you, is there's something missing if this is an earthquake, and what's missing is the shear waves or the transverse waves, or commonly the S waves that usually follow after the P waves or the compression waves. And what we're looking at is on this seismogram is just nothing but compression waves. And that is more distinguishable or common with an underground nuclear detonation of a bomb, and you only get compression waves with that sort of detonation. You don't get the shear waves afterwards. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, we've got two different types of seismograph readings. One is of the Indian nuclear test conducted on May the 11th, 1998, and the other one is of an earthquake, April the 4th, 1995. And you can see that there are two different seismograph readings. The first one is of a nuclear blast, and the second one is of an earthquake. Now, on the nuclear blast, we have P waves or compression waves, and no S waves following that. On the second one, we just have a series of S waves, which is more common for an earthquake. Now we'll go back to the Deep Mammoth Hole, where the first earthquake of the series after that took place, and we'll compare, that P wave with the P wave from the Deep Mammoth Hole, and I think it's conclusive. So like I say, with the 6.4 magnitude earthquake at Deep Mammoth Hole, we should have seen shortly, S waves following the compression waves or the P waves. And the reason for that is that P waves move at a little bit faster speed than the S waves, but the S waves in earthquakes generally follow after the P waves. P waves are moving about 5 kilometers per second. S waves, or transverse or shear waves, are usually moving around about 3 kilometers per second. But you can see that the 6.4 magnitude earthquake that erupted at Mammoth Deep Hole only records compression waves or P waves and nothing else after that. Even for about 6-7 minutes after that, it just pitters out to completely nothing on the chart. This is characteristic of a nuclear detonation underground and not of an earthquake. If it had been an earthquake, I'll show you what you would have seen. And that's exactly what we see in this diagram. We see the P waves at first, and then after we see the S waves. On the seismograph of Deep Mammoth Hole, all we see is P waves, and that looks similar to this next diagram. And this is the perfect characteristics of a nuclear bomb test with regards to what they would record on the seismographs. And as you can see, Deep Mammoth Hole, the 6.4 magnitude that set everything off after that point is characteristic of an explosion underground. So now we've had a look at seismographs relating to nuclear detonations underground and real earthquakes. Let's just have a look at some of the other data that's recorded on this chart, and let's see if we can, connect the dots. So,
okay. Then I just want to show you one other picture that I have here. 1 second. Okay, this is from Mike Morales' Weather Channel. Someone sent in this picture here to him. This is in Minnesota. Okay, now the Earth, there's a crustal kind of displacement. This is the road, and it's like splitting. It's just a total disaster. And which is kind of an interesting place for that to be happening. So that's another a piece of the puzzle you might want to look at. Why is this Earth? Why is this happening? What is this? I don't know. Come to your own theories. So then, 1 second. I have a map of the entire United States. So here we go. So it's a little cut off, but close enough. So we have that happening in Minnesota, the crustal displacement. All of these states over here, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Texas, were flooded out. And these were man-made floods, make no mistake about it, because we have been watching the whole time while they've been doing it on the radars through various channels. So does anyone else not find it completely fishy that Minnesota has crustal displacement? We've got floods all around here that was done intentionally. We've got a bomb going off over here, possibly. I'm not saying that's just a theory. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying that's what people are suggesting, and Mike Morales also suggested it. So that's more than one person that suggested it. Now, I watched Mike Morales' broadcast last night. I generally watch as much as I can, and it's still up. If you can't watch it live, you just go and watch it when you have free time. So then, now the whole East Coast is lit up with storms, especially Florida. So is it not entirely suspicious that the whole middle of the country is flooded out? Some kind of crustal displacement is going on here. So that's the whole middle of the country. Then we've got, they've been bombing California. It seems to me they have their eyes set on California. They want to do something over there. I think they set off that bomb to somehow move the tectonic plates. And then now, all of a sudden, on Mike Morales' broadcast last night, he's showing that there was like this big circular thing all around here, storm system moving in, which we know these are all man-made storms. So it's a totally obvious that this is a methodical destruction of the United States. It's completely, blatantly obvious. I mean, or does anyone actually believe that, oh, and by the way, this never happened before in the history of the entire time I've been alive, that just randomly a bunch of earthquakes go off over here, and, oh yeah, and then by the way, all the dams in Cali are full when, by the way, it doesn't even rain in California. My friend lives in California, and she would constantly be complaining that how it would never rain. It doesn't rain in California. It never did before. It never rained before the weather Satanists started making it rain like crazy so they could fill up these dams. It doesn't even rain in California. I had a bunch of people before I left Facebook. They would always be complaining, oh, we finally got some rain. It rained. Thank God it's raining. I mean, they would go like literally months and months. It doesn't rain in California, and yet we're expected to believe that this is all of a sudden somehow natural, that these dams are filling up. I mean, it's like, I mean, did you ever hear that phrase by Jay-Z? You can't sell us bullshit. We know the prices. Well, you can't sell us bullshit. I mean, this is all being methodically done to destroy the United States. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. Why are they doing this? It's crystal clear that the U.S. is the target. The U.S. is the main target. Now, I also noticed that why did the United States roll out 5G? Keep in mind, while almost all countries are being chemtrailed, there are only 4 or 5 countries that even have 5G right now, and the United States is one of them. So why is it that the United States is being bombarded from every single angle? It's blatantly obvious. Now, you notice there's been a war on white people. That was already going on in the media, white males, and trying to effeminize males and stuff. It seems to me they're targeting who they perceive to be the biggest threat to them. Seems to me that's what's going on. That's just an opinion. I'm sure there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Obviously, we don't have all the information. They're not telling us anything, so we're just giving our opinions on here. But it's mighty suspicious that we've got problems here, we've got problems here, we've got crustal displacement over here, and then the storm systems are now spreading over here. Oh yeah, that's not obvious at all. I mean, like, did they think they were gonna sell to us that these were just some random occurrences? Yeah, please save it. No one believes your lies. So they're gonna have to come up with a new story because see, the lies they're selling, they ain't working for anybody.